When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Tuesday morning. Today we're going to be talking about a 501c3, a business that's been around for a few years. And you know what that business does? It helps clean up the river. Have you heard about it? It's been around for a while. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Do call in. Very interesting topic today here on Connect with Me. Interesting topic here today, but before we get started, I want to mention that you are watching us here on Comcast, channel 187 and 43.6 and 13.1. You can do that every Monday through Friday. The replay comes later in the day, so if you're busy now and you have to leave us for a few minutes and you can't come back until after, well, you can catch us at 2 o'clock. 13.6, that's YouTube. 8 o'clock tonight, 13.5. That would be Biz TV, and we're online on YouTube. We have our own YouTube channel. You can watch us 24/7. A very interesting, I think, interesting topics for the entire week. This is New Year's week, of course, 2015. We're going to rein that in, I guess, in a couple of days now. But tomorrow, a very interesting program. We'll talk about depression. It's a huge topic across the country, especially now during the holidays. A therapist, a family therapist, will be in our studio tomorrow live, so he'll be able to field and take your phone calls. On New Year's Day, we'll have a special taped program with somebody who believes in eating raw foods, and also the person who runs Gymnastics Beat. The two, they may go hand in hand. We'll see. And then on Friday, hey, remember we talked about those mailers yesterday. You got those mailers from the city of Fresno talking about whether or not you want your water rates to go up. Yes or no? You got to mail them in. Guess who's going to be in the studio? Our friend, our longtime friend. From the very beginning, he's been a friend of this program. He is Doug Vagum. He'll be here on Friday. It's a live program. So, yeah, we're going to take New Year's Day off, but you know what? We're here for the duration of the week with some live programming. All right, to our program today, and a very interesting topic. Been looking forward to this for the better part of a week, because this is a very interesting topic for me, especially with the drought coming into play here. How many of you wondered who cleans up the San Joaquin River? How many of you have wondered who replants all those trees, or who pulls out all of those nasty tires out of the river once it's down? Hey, let's roll the videotape and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, my friends. That's right, the answer is at your fingertips. All you have to do is watch today's program. You'll find out that River Tree, yes, River Tree, all one word, is a nonprofit 501c3 organization with countless volunteers. But it hasn't always been that way. In the beginning, in 2002, River Tree used a mere 4 employees, 4 canoes to try to clean the river and the land that goes along the banks of the river. River Tree now has 12 board members, hundreds and hundreds of volunteers throughout the course of 1 year, and 24 canoes that they use to patrol and clean that stretch of the San Joaquin River from Friant Dam to Highway 99. And if I'm incorrect about that, I'm sure my guest will correct me on today's program. Here's what they do. They take debris out of the river. They take debris like tires, glass, trash, concrete, and they replant hundreds of trees every year. They repair fences, gates. They repair or replace signs, and much, much more. Those are the volunteers right there, and you got to give them a big round of applause. Bet you didn't know all of that. But how did the company grow and expand over the last 12 years? And why do they care so much about the river? Why? And what effect has the drought had on their efforts? Here, my friends, to answer all of those questions live in our studio is Richard Sloan. He is the Executive Director of River Tree, a nonprofit organization, a 501c3. So it's river cleanup time today here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno, 436 MeTV option 11. Looking at that video amazes me how many volunteers are out there cleaning up the river. But with the drought, does that come into play? Is that a factor? 436 MeTV option 11. We've got an open line Tuesday here on the program. Back in just a moment.
Ladies' Night was started in his honor. Bar stools pulled themselves out for him. The only thing Chuck Norris is afraid of is her. Cheers is the most memorable bar in the world. You may not always watch comedy, but when you do, watch Cheers.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Hey, plenty of time here on the program. We have more than more than 50 minutes left, about 52 minutes left for you to call in and ask any question you want about this river cleanup that's been going on now since 2002/2003, right around that time period. They've been cleaning up the San Joaquin River. We haven't always been in a drought. I guess the last 4 years it's been pretty bad. We're starting to come out of it slowly now, although we're still not where we should be or ought to be and where people want us to be in terms of water levels. However, Richard Sloan is here, the Executive Director of River Tree. And Richard, welcome to the program here on Connect with Me. How are you, sir? Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year to you, John.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming here today. So, River Tree, you know, I've heard of your organization, didn't know much about it until I did some of the research myself, found your Facebook page, of course, and no problem there. But So let me ask you, first of all, why is it so important to clean up the river? All right, people throw debris in the river all the time. I mean, all sorts of debris, as you well know. Why is it important to clean that debris out?
Well, I'm happy to say that the river is getting better, but the river, I retired from the Army in 1996.
Oh, thanks for serving.
Thank you.
What branch of the service?
Army Transportation Corps.
Great, okay.
I did volunteer work. My last duty station was with Army ROTC at Fresno State, and I was able to do volunteer work with the San Joaquin River Parkway and Conservation Trust. And then after I retired from the Army, they offered me a position with the Parkway Trust as a volunteer coordinator on the river.
Oh.
And so I gained experience there, but my first canoe trip on the San Joaquin River, I was absolutely heartbroken because from Friant Dam to Highway 99, you were never out of sight of a tire either in the water or on the banks of the river. And plus other debris, car parts, stolen cars that have been dumped in the river. And
yeah.
The river was a real mess, and it was quite a problem.
Why is it important to keep it clean?
Well, right off the bat, aesthetics. It's a beautiful river, and marred by all the trash and debris. But then also, some of this trash and debris presents problems to people that recreate on the river, either swimming or debris in the river that could damage boats passing through, or harmful to animals and fish that depend on the river for subsistence.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let's roll a piece of videotape. We have plenty of video, plenty of pictures to show off your Facebook page. And you can call in the program and talk to Richard Sloan, the Executive Director of River Tree, a nonprofit that helps clean the river. What's going on here?
Okay, here we've got some volunteers from a sorority that are helping to clean up the river. We have trash grabbers, and they're a little bit extra long, and a lot of them have bottles attached to them, so if people accidentally drop them in the water, they still float. But here they found some trash where their fishermen have left some debris, and they're getting out of the canoe to grab the trash.
Right, and so they're taking part in this cleanup. And when was this? Yes. When did this take place? I know this takes place all year long, but this particular video here, when?
This was in November.
Okay, so you can. I guess it's kind of cloudy there. You can see it's a little bit overcast. But how dangerous is this, or is it?
Well, inherently, anything you do outside along the river has some element of danger involved in it. There can be broken glass out there, and that's one of the big things that we try to get rid of. Sharp edges. The worst cut I ever received out on the river was from just a small piece of fiberglass, about a foot square. Mm-hmm. We every now and then we find hypodermic needles out there, bullets that haven't been expended, and just various things out there. You have to pay attention, but use common sense, and you should be fine.
Yeah, fantastic video. One of your 24 canoes out there being used, and there's another canoe there. With two people in a canoe, no more than two?
Well, we have the largest canoes of any organization that's operating on the San Joaquin River. And for instance, the canoe that those girls are in has a capacity of about 1,500 pounds. Mm-hmm. So we can have and take an entire family out on the river, parents and 2 kids, with no problem. And that's something that sets us apart from other organizations, is that we have no age limit for the people that go on our river trips.
However, you have to put that debris somewhere, so I would assume 2 people in a canoe, and then you use the rest of that space in the canoe to put the debris in, right?
Yes. Well,
does that make sense, I guess?
Oh, certainly, yeah. And sometimes we've wound up strapping 2 canoes together to remove things like earth mover tires, or great big huge tires. Our record for one person paddling a canoe is with 18 tires in that canoe with the person paddling. 18
tires. I was just going to ask you, so when you clean tires out of the river, we're going to roll some more videotape. I'm just fascinated by this entire cleanup here. How in the world do you put, used tires that are basically trash in these canoes? I mean, some of these tires must weigh, what, 40, 50 pounds maybe in some cases, maybe more?
We've done tires that have weighed 300 or 400 pounds.
And you put them in the canoe?
We put them crossways across the thwarts of the canoe.
Well, it takes 2 or 3 people to take that tire and pick it up, right? Or more?
Yeah, sometimes, yes. And we've got ropes with grappling hooks on the end of them, and we'll grab a tire, and if we can't pull it straight up into the canoe, we'll take the rope to shore and then get a few people and then pull the tire to shore, get the gravel, dirt, sand, whatever's in the tire out of it. And invariably there's broken glass in these tires for some reason. And we'll stand the tire up next to the shore, pull the canoe alongside, and then tip the tire over across the gunnels of the canoe, and then paddle it to some place where we can get the tire safely out of the river and into a roll-off bin.
And there's no chance of, say, the canoe turning over or sinking? Can a tire sink one of these canoes?
A tire cannot sink a canoe per se, but it can tip one over if you load it improperly. And a couple of times we have had people loading canoes with tires or other heavy trash, and the canoe has turned over, and then we just figure out, well, maybe there's a better way to do it, or distribute the load another way and get back in and take the debris to wherever our takeout points are.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And another thing I'd like to point out is our cleanups go all the way from the Evolution Valley up in the high Sierras all the way down to Hall's Ferry, where the Merced River joins the San Joaquin River.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
How many miles would that be?
Well, I'm guessing that's probably spots in about 150 miles of river, possibly up to 200 miles of river.
Wow.
The San Joaquin River is 333 miles long if you go from Thousand Island Lake to Pittsburgh, where it enters the Sassoon Bay.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Hey, Richard Sloan is our guest today. He is the executive director of River Tree, and so the process there is to try to clean up the San Joaquin River, not only each and every month, I guess each and every week. You got hundreds of volunteers out there cleaning up the river, removing tires, glass, concrete, anything that might be sticking out like a sore thumb, and they might even go down under the water where they can't see, where it's dirty and mucky and yucky and dirty, but they get their hands dirty, and they do it. 436 MeTV option 11. Back with our program in a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer. the first pulsator agitator washer. And now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean Dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
It's almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the Me TV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The adventures of Superman.
Now on Me TV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here on the program today with Richard Sloan. He is the executive director of River Tree, and glad to have you along here. Happy New Year to you, by the way, you and your family. I want to mention some of the things that you do. It's a little brief history that you sent me on the contributions done by River Tree to try to clean up the river. You remove broken concrete tables or slabs. You remove and install and reinstitute barriers, right? Is that correct? What kind of barriers are you talking about, and where?
Well, for instance, where people have been trespassing, four-wheel driving, for instance, Palm and Knees.
You have concrete barriers there? And
they're huge concrete blocks.
So you kind of reinstall them, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, I wanted to know, is there anything being done for the Kings River? And if so, what is the overall health of our rivers in the area? Because I've heard a lot about this, and I mean, I live by the river myself, and I want to know what's most of the debris and pollution coming from? Because I thought we had a pretty good thing with the boaters and stuff, but I mean, I find it all the time, and I just want to know what his input would be. Thank you.
Well, the San Joaquin River is getting a lot better in my perspective. The Kings River has a group that is working to clean up that particular river. River Tree Volunteers only operates on the San Joaquin River as far as doing river cleanups go. The San Joaquin River had a huge problem with basically commercial dumping of tractor-trailer tires probably in the early 90s, and literally tens of thousands of tractor-trailer tires were dumped in the river. The Parkway Trust started to tackle the situation, and they removed about 3,000 tires prior to 2002. But they didn't want to go below Highway 99 with their operation. And that was about the time that River Tree Volunteers formed, and we determined that we would go wherever on the San Joaquin River that a group wanted to have us come and help out. And so that's why we've covered a geographic area from the Evolution Valley all the way down to Hall's Ferry, where there's 3 state parks along the San Joaquin River there.
Who was dumping all these tractor-trailer tires in the river?
I don't know for sure. We made code enforcement aware of it and started our project removing the tires.
Yeah.
And now there's a problem with the county dump cutting back, that people have been dumping an awful lot of debris along Sierra Avenue between Highway 99 Bridge and Skaggs Bridge County Park.
So you're not sure who did this back in the 90s?
No, we don't know.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I was wondering, your organization, are you pushing towards conservation of the river or preservation or a combination of both? That's my question. Thanks.
Okay, well, we try not to get involved in the politics of the river. We incorporate it as a public benefit corporation, and our goal is to teach people about the San Joaquin River by providing free activities on the river, such as just a basic canoe picnic trip on the river, river cleanups, planting trees, graffiti removal. But as far as the politics of the river, we try to stay away from that as much as possible.
Well, how can you avoid it?
Well, basically, we try to avoid it by not taking anybody's sides on the issues that are coming up.
So, in your opinion, though, what's and not getting into politics, like you said, you don't want to get involved. What do you think is a high priority? Would it be conservation or preservation?
Well, it would seem that conservation and preservation go hand in hand.
You think so?
Yes, I do.
You don't think they're all that much different then?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. I mean, they kind of fall along the same line. They almost have the same meaning. If you're preserving something, you're trying to conserve it and preserve it at the same time, are you not?
Yes. The San Joaquin River has so many problems with exotic species being introduced, plants and animals. Good example, red fox is an introduced species. We have a Louisiana red crayfish that's been introduced in the river. Now they're just discovering that there's a loach in the river that is invasive.
No Loch Ness monster though yet, huh?
Scarlet wisteria is another thing.
Well, we got to take a break. I'm going to continue our conversation here. Let me know if you see the Loch Ness monster. You have to come back on the program here and let me know. That's a joke, by the way. Richard Sloan doing some great work out there with River Tree, the executive director of the organization. It's a nonprofit 501c3. You know, you got to have fun. You have to have a sense of humor a little bit, right? I'll bet you there are some people that have claimed in the past to have seen the Loch Ness monster. Where on the San Joaquin? I don't know. 436 MeTV option 11. We're back with our program in a moment.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hey, we're back here on the program Connect with Me today talking about River Tree, a nonprofit 501c3 that helps clean up the San Joaquin River. One of the callers called in and said, hey, what about the Kings River? Are you involved in their cleanup? Are you, what is the okay, 2-part question. What about the Kings River, and what's the status of our rivers here in the Central Valley? Are they in fairly good shape?
Okay, well, River Tree did help a gentleman by the name of T.P. Thompson start a cleanup group on the Kings River about 10 years ago, and we brought some of our canoes down, and he had media come out, and we pulled a whole bunch of refrigerators and stoves and tires out of the Kings River near Lemoore Naval Air Station. And then he was having a problem getting roll-off bins. It's expensive to get rid of the trash that you pull out of the river.
So what I want to, what's more importantly, I want to know who's dumping stoves and refrigerators inside the, in the river. I mean, that's astounding to me that somebody would do. I could see tires and other debris, but a refrigerator, a freezer, a stove.
It's unfortunately it's common all up and down the San Joaquin River from the Auberry area. People are dumping all kinds of stuff in the ravines, and eventually it washes down into the river or into the reservoirs.
So what's the status of the Kings River? Do you know?
I don't know. I know that about 4 years ago, a gentleman organized a cleanup of the Kings River, and he managed to get about 2,000 volunteers out there.
Yeah.
And they did a tremendous job cleaning up the river. So
yeah.
it's getting attention.
Yeah, and what's the status of our rivers? Are we in okay shape?
Well,
or not so good?
I think now that there's enough environmental awareness that there's a number of groups popping up all the way from Kern River all the way up the San Joaquin Valley, that there's a lot of people trying to help out as best they can with the rivers in their particular areas. But the drought is making things really interesting.
Yeah.
As far as trafficability on the rivers to pick up trash. In some cases, the low water is helping to access the river bottoms to clean trash right smack dab out of the bottom of the river.
Let's roll some more videotape. We have plenty of that to talk about. So I was going to ask you about the drought and the effects it's having, whether it be positive or negative, on your cleanup effort.
We thought with the drought that we were going to be able to do a really good job on the portion of the river from 99 down to Skaggs Bridge, because there's an awful lot of metal trash on the bottom of the river in that stretch. However, the powers that be decided to use the San Joaquin River as a conveyance to convey water to the west side of the San Joaquin River. So our safety limit is 450 cubic feet a second flow for first-time people out on the river. The river was flowing at 1,300 cubic feet a second virtually all summer long, so the river was too high to do cleanups in that area, and we wound up concentrating pretty much on the area from the 41 bridge down to the Highway 99 bridge, and the impact has been with the homeless coming out there.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of abandoned camps out there, and the high water in some cases was washing the debris from their camps into the river.
Into the river, yeah. Here you can see some cleanup along the banks of the river, right?
Yes.
And that's very important too, because
well, during high water, it can be washed into the river.
Okay.
Or people accessing the river have to go through the trash. It could present a danger.
This is a long, tedious process, and I would imagine just like in the water, outside the water, along the banks, you're going to find all sorts of debris. Look at all the volunteers. I'm just really amazed at how many young people are out there. The bags of trash that they're carrying right now. I would imagine you find all kinds of odd items.
We do. We've found, for instance, a full set of golf clubs in the bag with the guy's gloves and inhaler and whatnot. We found serial numbered handcuffs.
How about weapons? Any weapons?
We constantly find knives out along the river, machetes.
Any guns?
We found pieces of guns in some of these abandoned camps. We've never found a whole gun.
You turn that stuff into law enforcement?
Anything that we think law enforcement might be interested in, we notify them. Anything that has somebody's personal identification on it, we'll try our best to get it back to that individual.
Right. So getting back to the drought, okay, here is, what are we looking at here? What's this a picture of?
Okay, now this is a camp that's abandoned downstream of Palm and Knees that still exists just like this, and this is slated for a cleanup.
A homeless camp, right?
Yes, presumably a homeless camp.
Yeah. Some of the debris left strewn along the landscape there, right?
Yes.
Looks like is that a bicycle tire there?
This is actually a trailer that attaches to a bicycle.
Okay. Okay.
And this gentleman had just arrived in this particular abandoned camp the night before and had started a smoky fire there, and that attracted attention. And
is this one of your volunteers here?
No. This is a homeless guy that had just come in. And
that's his camp right there then?
No. This is somebody.
He just came upon that camp.
He just came upon the camp, yes.
Okay. All right, the night before. And so, boy, this I guess would entail quite a cleanup there.
Yes, we wound up cleaning up this camp and another one. And again, we had a fraternity from Fresno State that came out and helped, and we were able to fill a 20 cubic yard roll-off bin from the debris from just 2 camps.
Quickly, have you ever found drugs or like a methamphetamine camp, and then you do have to call law enforcement?
Yes.
You have?
We found a marijuana guards camp at Woodward Park. We found where somebody dumped the leftovers from a meth lab along the banks below the Highway 99 bridge on the Fresno side.
Yeah, so that's when you got to call law enforcement in.
Yes, and we found abandoned marijuana camp right across from Camp Pachean. We found another one at Ball Ranch this year.
Okay. All right, Richard Sloan is here. He is the executive director of River Tree, a great nonprofit organization, a 501c3 that helps clean up the San Joaquin River. So we're going to continue our conversation. There is an open line if you want to call in and ask a question. 436-MeTV, option 11. We're back in just a moment.
Frigidaire. It means the first refrigerator. It means a history of innovations that help make your home life better. And now we introduce the new Frigidaire French door refrigerator with over 100 ways to organize for maximum flexibility. Built with adjustable flip-up and slide-under shelving and stackable crisper drawers. It's the refrigerator that flexes to fit it all, no matter what your day will bring. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
This fall, there is a place, familiar and inviting, timeless and warm. MeTV, a place all your own that you can call home.
Hi, honey, I'm home.
This fall, home is where you'll find me.
You mean to tell me that's all there is to it?
That's all.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Focus is on business today, and a business that is a nonprofit has 0 employees now. Is that right? 0 employees, but only 12 board members. Am I right?
Well, actually, we have 7 board members, and we have 4 college students that are river guides for our organization.
Okay, but no paid employees is what you're saying.
We have they do get a stipend towards their fall semester enrollment at a university.
But you don't have anybody drawing a big salary, benefits, and retirement, and all that kind of stuff like some nonprofits do.
Oh no, nobody in our organization benefits from the organization.
You consider this a business?
No, definitely not.
But it's a 501c3.
We had to incorporate in order for liability purposes.
But it's a business not for profit though.
Right, we're considered a not for profit public benefit corporation.
Okay.
And to all of our board members, this is a hobby. We enjoy the San Joaquin River. We enjoy being out there. It's a lot of fun, and that's why we do it.
I want to roll a piece of videotape that shows the river out there. And I want to talk about the water levels because we all know that we've been in this drought now for the better part of 4 years. Hopefully we're showing signs of coming out of it now with the recent rains and snow up in the mountains, which helps out a lot, especially when that snow starts to melt later on next year. With the water levels being so low, is it easy? I mean, look how low that water is right there. That is really low. Does it make your job easier to clean the San Joaquin River because you can find this debris much easier?
Generally, yes. It does make it easier to access the debris on the bottom of the river and the stuff that sank down when the river was high. But by the same token, when the river is high, debris gets washed up into the bushes up high, and then when it goes back down, debris might be 3 feet up in bushes. When we first started our big tire project, it was, remember there'd been the January '97 flood and record high levels in the river.
Oh yeah.
We were pulling tractor trailer tires out of trees 15 feet up from the water level.
Yeah. What kind of dangers does this present with the water being this low? Risk or danger?
Well, it actually makes it easier, less dangerous.
Because
the river is so shallow that if you capsize your canoe, generally you're only in a foot or two of water, and you just stand up, lift whatever it was you had in your canoe and put it back in the canoe or in somebody else's canoe that's not overloaded.
How's the current? Is it less ferocious, would you say?
Well, there's some places on the river where it's more dangerous when the water level is low, and there's other places that are more dangerous when the water level is high. The problem with high water level is that if you do capsize, there's a possibility that you could get trapped between the canoe and the shore or an object in the river, and a canoe loaded with water pressing against you could conceivably crush you.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And so with the water levels being so low, it is easy to pull stuff out. What are some of the strangest objects that you've found there besides, you know, the tires we've talked about? We talked about broken concrete, fridge, a stove, a freezer. What else?
We routinely find those small fire safes that people hide in their closets from the bad guys or whatever. When their houses get broken into, they steal their safes and crack them open and throw them in the river.
So you find those?
We found those. One time we found about 26 6- and 7-pound bags of marijuana floating down the river. The whole gamut. We find people's wallets. One time we found a baggie filled with water that had 2 wallets, 2 sets of car keys about 3 feet up in a bush. So obviously they'd capsized when the water level was high, and the baggie didn't leak. So here's a bag of water with 2 wallets in it and the car keys.
Did you return that to the owner? Or?
Yes, as it happened, we had a police officer's wife with us, and the police officer was meeting his wife at our takeout point.
This is some of the debris that has been pulled out of the river?
Well, this is mostly from an abandoned
camp.
Abandoned camp, and a good deal of debris also. Also in there is a motorboat that somebody abandoned along the river, and one of our volunteers used a sawzall to cut it up to put it in the
But a lot
dumpster.
of that debris that's along the banks of the river, like the encampments, the abandoned encampments, that debris, do you transport that back in the canoe?
Generally, no.
How is that transported, and where is that debris taken to?
We, in most cases, we get a roll-off bin donated to us, and it's up to the trash hauler to dispose of the trash that's in the roll-off bin.
Okay, so let me get this straight now in my head now. So the trash that comes out of the river, or the trash left over by the encampments, the abandoned ones, where does that trash end up, and how do you transport it from point A to the point where you want to discard it? Where is it discarded?
There's a lot of manual labor involved in this. We'll bag the trash. We provide trash bags and leather gloves to our volunteers.
Okay.
And then we carry the trash to the nearest road. Then we use pickup trucks and trailers to transport the trash to the bin if the bin is a distance away.
Okay, I'm going to pick up on that after the call. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to know, is it better to donate money to a cause like yours, or do you still feel need that us people out here, do we have to organize our own groups and do what we can to help clean the Kings and all the rivers around here? I mean,
well,
where would our money best be spent?
Well, if you can find a group that's supporting the river that you're interested in, it's probably best to donate to that group if they are a 501c3. That certainly helps out. We're finding that roll-off bins are costing us in the neighborhood of about $300 for each bin. And for instance, our group fills 6 or 7 bins every year.
Okay, when you're talking about these bins, that's where you transport and haul the trash to, right? And you dump them in these bins. Where are these bins located, and who discards the contents of those bins?
Well, for instance, this year we've been using Mid-Valley Disposal.
Okay, and they discard the tires and the stoves and all that?
Yes.
In a proper way?
In a proper way, yes.
Okay. And where are these bins located?
Well, they spot the bin where we ask them to locate or get the bin as close as possible to the spot that we need the bin at. Lots of times the soil may be too loose or too muddy to have a big truck deliver the bin
now,
to that.
Does Mid-Valley Disposal, do they charge you?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
What does it cost?
Well,
so they're not volunteering their time.
Oh, no. They last year they did donate a bin that we had out at Skaggs Bridge.
But they charge you to haul it away.
Yes, it costs about $400 per bin.
Okay.
And sometimes we use 20 cubic yard roll-off bins, sometimes all the way up to 60 cubic yard.
We have a series of still photographs that we have borrowed from your Facebook page, and we're going to show those after the break, and we're going to talk about many of those pictures. We have about 20 of them we want to show you. 436-MeTV option 11. We're back with our program, and we have an open line right here on a Tuesday morning. Back in a moment.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator, the first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here on the program talking about River Tree, a 501c3 nonprofit. Executive Director Richard Sloan, and you decided to become a corporation because?
Well, we needed to support ourselves somehow to get the canoes and tools and things we needed. So we had to become a 501c3, and that way groups like the Kiwanis Club, Rotary, Fresno Guarantee Savings were able to donate to our organization. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Valley Regional Foundation as well.
Okay. All right. So we have a series of still photos that we want to show you. It's off the Facebook page. Name of the Facebook page is what?
River Tree Volunteers. River Tree is one word.
River Tree Volunteers. So look them up on Facebook, like them. What's going on here? What's this?
Okay, this is where we've picked up some trash from along the side of the river and put it in a pickup truck, and then they're offloading from the pickup truck into a roll-off bin near the Highway 41 bridge.
Okay, and this self-explanatory, right?
Yes, indeed.
And that little girl is what, probably about 10, 12 years old?
No, these are 18-year-old. These are
oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorority students.
All right. That looked like a small girl, though. The girl in the white there, she looked small to me. I guess I need my eyes checked. I need to go to Dr. Thomas Casagrande. I know you're laughing, but all right. So can you bring your kids along if they're that age, 10, 12 years old?
Well, we try to do activities that may be specific to a certain age.
Okay.
For the abandoned camps, because there are sharp edges, possibility of hypodermic needles and things like that.
Right.
We prefer to target the older groups for that.
What are we looking at here?
Okay. Every year we try to get off the San Joaquin River and gain some kind of experience. Here we're on the Colorado River at Topak Canyon, and we're tagging along with the Fresno Kayak Club. We had 12 kayaks and 14 people that came out on this particular trip. And we're exploring the possibility of getting more kayaks for River Tree.
Okay.
So
that was the purpose of this trip here.
Yes, we're trying to gain as much experience as we can.
All right, next photo. We have plenty of photos here. This is obviously abandoned shopping carts.
Yes, this is on the San Joaquin River Conservancy Spano property near Palm and Knees, where there was a number of abandoned camps.
Yeah.
And we've probably returned 2 stores over 50 shopping carts this year. It seems like most of them are on a one-way trip. And something that people don't realize is that there are a lot of edible clams in the San Joaquin River, freshwater clams.
Okay.
And some of the people are cutting the shopping carts in half, putting handles on them, and using them as clam rakes to rake up clams off the river bottom.
Didn't know that. Didn't know that. Okay, next one here. Boy, that's a mess, huh?
Again, yes, another abandoned camp.
We'll keep going there. Okay. Clean up along the banks here, right?
Yes. Because of the high water this year, we didn't want to get people that had no experience canoeing onto the main river. And so we used the ponds on the San Joaquin River Conservancy property near Palm and Knees to teach people how to paddle a canoe, get them familiar with the canoe, and then sending them out on the ponds to do cleanups there. And then from there, there's a opening onto the main river, and from there we're able to go upriver. And it's actually more effective doing a cleanup going upriver than it is coming from upstream going downstream.
Is that right?
Yes, because that way you tend to spot the trash easier, and it's easier to grab the trash when the river.
How long are those canoes, by the way?
We have canoes from 15 feet to over 17 feet long.
Okay. Okay, and more cleanup here. There's another bin. Looks like the same one from earlier.
Yes, there is. They're emptying the pickup truck.
And so we'll just move on here. Another encampment, of course. This one abandoned as well, huh?
Yes, this is the remains of a big cleanup that we did on an island just above the Highway 41 bridge. In September, during the Great Sierra River cleanup, we were able to clean up 11 abandoned camps. And there was one camp that the occupants said they wanted to stay. The cleanup was on a Saturday, and that Monday they decided they didn't want to stay and left a huge mess there. And this is just the tail end of a cleanup that went from September on. And
what's this here?
This is cleaning up the remains of that mess. And by this time the river had dropped down, and we were able to wade across the river. In September, we wound up having to use canoes on ropes to pull the trash across from the island to the shore. We had approximately 162 volunteers involved in that cleanup.
Wow, look at this debris here in the pickup. I'm sure just a small amount of what you guys collected on that day.
Yes, indeed. And again, this is from the island at above the Highway 41 bridge.
Yeah. Let's, if we have time, roll another piece of videotape. And I want to talk about what type of fish that you have encountered in the river. Forget about the Loch Ness Monster. We all know about that. I want to know what kind of fish, maybe odd fish, that maybe some of your volunteers have encountered. Go ahead.
Well, I am not a fisherman, so I'm not too much up on the fish.
Okay.
But the January '97 flood washed a 75-acre fish farm into the San Joaquin River, the Moutius fish farm.
Wonderful.
And one of the most easily sighted fish that got washed into the river were large koi carp.
Is that unusual to find that in the San Joaquin?
Very much so, yes.
Okay. But
so you can imagine seeing these 2 feet long, gold-colored or red and black or white and red or white and black fish swimming in the river.
Right.
It's the koi carp left over from the January '97 flood. And there's people are routinely talking about catching 8-pound catfish. They're largemouth bass. Because of the high water this year, people have been catching trout by the Highway 41 bridge this summer, which is very unusual because they're a cold water fish.
How about snakes?
It's very common to see snakes out there.
In the water or along the banks, or both?
All snakes can swim. There are no water snakes in the San Joaquin River in our area.
Okay.
But a snake will swim from one side of the river to the other, or they get washed onto an island during high water and then finally decide to move on and swim across.
Right. So to them, the snakes, it doesn't matter. High water, low water, doesn't bother them one way or the other, right?
Well, I imagine they don't like to swim, but if they want to go from point A to point B, they're going to do it. They're going to do it.
They have to. So along the banks, do you run into some rattlers?
We have never run into a rattlesnake below Lost Lake County Park.
Okay.
And we've tramped all over the place out there. And in Gene Rose's book, A River Betrayed, he talks about when the river would flood that rattlesnakes would get washed down from the high country on redwood logs and things like that, and then the farmers would find rattlesnakes occasionally along the banks of the river. But I'm
not too often.
I'm not aware of anybody finding a rattlesnake below Lost Lake County Park.
And how many feet is that? What's the footage there?
Footage.
What's the elevation?
Okay, the elevation.
Not below
probably
what?
From 400 feet.
Okay. All right. Hey, Richard Sloan is here, the executive director of River Tree. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization, a great organization. We'll give out the phone number and where you can get in touch with them if you want to volunteer. We're back in just a moment.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on BTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there.
Officer Poncherello, ma'am.
Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada on
Now on
Chips.
MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
We get our speed from Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
We're back here on the program today, and we want to talk about River Tree and it being a nonprofit to 501c3. We'll put the disclaimer up on the screen here and talk about the fact that we do focus on business every Tuesday here, or at least we try to, on Connect with Me. Sometimes it's kind of hit and miss, but for the most part, we promote local business here in the Central Valley because we have been successful here at Ventura TV since 1951, a very long time. So we try to help other businesses, and Richard Sloan came in of his own free will. We did not pay him, and he did not pay us. We're glad to have him along and hope that this organization, even though a nonprofit, a not-for-profit organization, is around for a while to clean up the river. So let me ask you about some of the, and you know, we might have some more videotape. We can roll it, whatever we want, and maybe roll a monologue video again, because it is very interesting to watch the volunteers out there, very concentrated in terms of bodies that are out there. I mean, they're out there by the hundreds each and every year, cleaning up the river in canoes and along the banks. What type of animals have some of your volunteers encountered?
Well, one of my favorite stories is out on a river cleanup. Volunteers were anxious to get out and start cleaning up tires, and one of the volunteers paddled over to the shore where he spotted a tire, jumps out of his canoe, grabs the tire, yells, throws the tire down. He runs one way and the skunk runs the other way.
Oh, wow. So you have skunks. What else?
Skunks. We commonly see deer, coyote, muskrat, beaver. Occasionally we see fox out there.
What coyotes?
Yeah, we do see coyotes every now and then out there. One time we almost had a coyote jump in a canoe trying to get away from something else when we were passing by an island at Wildwood. Mm-hmm. And twice we've almost had deer jump in a canoe passing by islands.
Any spottings or sightings of mountain lions?
One time on a canoe trip at the base of the bluff at Ledger Island, we got to see a mountain lion running along the base of the island. I was walking by myself on 2 different occasions and had a mountain lion run in front of me.
Really? Really? How far away?
The first time was probably 60 feet away from me, and this was below Valley Children's Hospital. And it ran from one clump of bushes about 60 feet away from me into another clump of bushes, and then just disappeared in the bushes. And pulled out my camera and waited for it to appear somewhere, and it never reappeared.
Were you a little frightened or startled?
No, I had a fairly large dog with me, and the cats don't like dogs.
Yeah, so you weren't afraid?
No.
But those sightings of those mountain lions are rare, few and far between?
It just depends on your location, where you are, and what time you're on the river.
How close to Children's was this this occurrence?
Maybe eighth of a mile.
Okay, so it's close to Children's Hospital then, huh?
Oh yeah, the Cobb family talk about seeing mountain lions routinely on the back porch of their house across from the Sportsman's Club and through the almond orchards out there.
Right. What year was this? When did this take place?
The Valley Children's Hospital incident was about 6 years ago, and this November I had a mountain lion running full tilt in front of me at Wildwood. It came flying over Old Blackstone Avenue, leaped down in the road in front of me, and then took off towards the Wildwood Trailer Park.
Interesting. Well, what about a phone number, maybe a web address, your Facebook page? You can reiterate that. Go ahead and give a phone number
certainly.
if people want to get in touch with your organization.
Okay. We don't maintain a website. You can get hold of us on Facebook, River Tree Volunteers, phone number 696-2971. And what happens is we ask you to get a group of 3 or more together for possibly a canoe ride, a picnic trip, river cleanup, planting trees, graffiti removal, or whatever the interest of your group might be. And I'll make sure that we can get enough volunteers to staff the activity safely, get permission from the landowner, and then it's a go.
When do you have these planned trips?
We, like I said,
planned cleanups.
Well, the groups.
Is it like every Saturday at 10 or what?
No, we'll go out anytime, as long as we can get volunteers, our staff, to staff the activity safely.
And how long in advance do you have to plan that?
Well, sometimes we can react within a day or two, but generally we need at least 2 weeks. If it's on San Joaquin River Conservancy property, they ask for at least 2 weeks advance notice because they have to make sure that no other group is using that particular property.
Right. How long do you see this organization continuing this project?
Well, as long as there's people that are interested in getting out on the San Joaquin River, and as long as we have board members that are or corporate officers that want to keep volunteering their time to do this.
Yeah. Okay, I appreciate your time today here on Connect with Me. It's good of you to come in, and a very important project that you guys are involved in, because without the river cleanup, I guess it wouldn't be the same. It would be, the river is dangerous anyway, okay? Aside from all the debris that you encounter out there, it's a dangerous proposition to go out to the river each and every day. If you want to go swimming in the summer or enjoy kayaking or boating, it's dangerous enough aside from all the debris. Am I right?
It's you have to be aware of the dangers, but
and your surroundings.
And the river's fun. We have rope swings. We've got super soakers for the canoes. We have great water fights. It's a fun river.
Richard Sloan, pleasure to meet you. Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. Richard is the executive director of River Tree, the 501c3 nonprofit. Look him up on Facebook. Tomorrow, another live program here on New Year's Eve. We'll talk about depression with our special family therapist. Back tomorrow. Have a great day.